แนวการเรียนต่อคณะแพทยศาสตร์นะคะเราได้รับเกียรติจากคุณโทนี่นะคะซึ่งเป็น Regional Admission Director นะคะของ Cardiff School College ค่ะ
ใช่ค่ะเดี๋ยวเรามาดูกันค่ะว่าคุณโทนี่มาแล้วคุณโทนี่มาแล้วค่ะ Good morning Tony how are you
Hi, good afternoon to you, Helen and Chloe. You both look like nurses today, so it's quite appropriate that we're going to talk about medicine. I think
it's actually the CETA talk, no CETA or education.
I see, yes, very good, lovely. You look beautiful today. So it's good afternoon here in Thailand, and it's good morning in the UK and good evening in New Zealand and the USA, I believe, right? Okay, I'm going to talk to your audience about getting into medical school. And I think, as both of you know, it's very, very difficult to get into medical school. It's not for the faint-hearted. To try and do it on your own is virtually impossible. Okay, we can start if you're ready.
Yes, we are ready. Are you ready?
Yes. Have you got my first slide for me?
Oh, hang on a second. Almost there. Okay.
Right.
Hang on. Almost there. Here we go. Can you see my screen?
Not yet. There we go. Right. Yeah. So, applying to study medicine in the UK, right? Next slide. This is me. I've been coming to Thailand, Asia for 6 years. Love this region. It's really beautiful. Okay, next slide. For those of you who don't know where the UK is, where we are situated, there's the map. As you can see, normally you fly into London Heathrow, and then Cardiff is in Wales, which is to the left. Okay, next slide. So we've been a top school for almost about 1 year for almost 11 years. And you know, going to study medicine, you need to have top grades. So you need to be with a school that at least you know has a proven track record that can get you into medical school and has done this before. Okay. We're also, in fact, in 2019, we were the #1 school on the small league table for the 1-year GCSE course. And you can see our grades this year or 2020 year, very good grades. There are no league tables this year, so unfortunately we cannot show you because of the pandemic any league tables. Next slide. These are the top 10 universities. If you're aspiring to go to any of the top 10 universities, in general terms, these are the top 10. It does change, however, if you look at the medical universities. Let's have a look at the next slide. There are the medical courses university rankings, and you can see it's a little bit different. This is the 2021 rankings. Dundee, Glasgow, Oxford, Aberdeen, Edinburgh. There are some new faces there. There are 31 different medical schools in the UK. We know them very well. Okay, next one. There are, of course, different course teaching types, and you need to familiarize yourself with which type of teaching style you're going to be comfortable with. If you take, for instance, traditional Cambridge and Oxford are very traditional type universities. They do preclinical and clinical type, very traditionally old school type. If you want a more integrated type of approach, Bristol and Imperial are well known for that. And then PBL, or problem-based learning as they are known. For instance, Glasgow and Manchester are very well known for that, where they have a problem where it's based on a problem and you learn from there. And then CBL, or case-based learning. Cardiff and Liverpool are famous for that, where they take a specific case in the past and they use that to continue and then to talk to the students about what was the problem and how they got to the actual end of it or the answers of it. Next slide. Not only do we send students for medicine to go to UK universities, we've also been sending students to American universities like her college. There's Brown's, there's Boston, there's New York, Yale, lots of different ones in the USA, which are becoming very popular. But of course, a very popular one is in Europe, which is the Royal College of Surgeons, which is an island. Next. Lots of students want to come back to Asia. Many students from Hong Kong actually go back to Hong Kong. They have the best faculty for dental there. But many of the Thai students also come back. King Mungat, you have your own universities in here, as you can see, which they like to come back to Thailand as well, not necessarily to be in the UK. And lately, we've been sending students to Australian universities as well. Okay. So if you look at the different placements that we've had in Cardiff for the degree choices, in most cases for medicine, we had 33 students this past year. If you take the last 5 years, we have sent more than 215 students to go and study medicine. Now that's significant. If you're looking to do medicine, you're looking for that sort of track record, because you want schools who will have a proven track record, can show you they can do it. Okay, next one. The general entry requirements that you would need for going to study medicine. Excellent academic performance. Typically, 2 A stars and an A, or 40 points when you're with or IB school or IB diploma. You're going to have to do an entrance exam. The UCAT or BMAT are the 2 entrance examinations done for medicine. You will have to do an interview, sometimes more than one. MMI or traditional panel. Your personal statement is going to be of significant value, because that's how they're going to determine who you are. And then, of course, the UCAS application. For those who don't know, UCAS is the online application, which you will apply to different universities. Now, in our case, you will apply to 5 universities. That's 4 medical and 1 non-medical. Then language, your IELTS requirement 7 to 7.5 or another proficiency test. So you can see it's pretty high when you want to do medicine in terms of language. Work experience or work observation or understanding. You know, universities want to make sure that the students that come to them want to be doctors. They know what it's about. They don't want any dropouts. So you need to be able to demonstrate to them that you have some type of experience in the field where you want to go and study. So it is very important. And then, of course, lastly, non-academic requirements, extracurriculum activities. You know, they don't want couch potatoes. They want balance in a student. Okay, next. Just to give you an idea, these were some of the actual 2021 offer requirements. If you look at Oxford, 1 A star and 2 A's. And then you had to have chemistry plus at least biology, physics, or maths. Cambridge was 2 A stars and an A. And you look at the pattern, it's all A stars, A stars. So you can see it's not for the faint-hearted. You need to work hard. And we work hard with the students, but you know, it's difficult at the best of times, and it's hard work. Okay, next. I mentioned the entrance exams. These are the 2 different ones. BMAT, biomedical admissions test for medicine or veterinary science and that. Incidentally, if you're going to study veterinary science in the UK, there are only 10 universities in the UK that you can apply to do veterinary. In other countries, it's a little different. The other entrance examination is the UCAT. It used to be UK CAT. It's now called UCAT, UK Clinical Aptitude Test. That's for medicine, and people who do dentistry are traditionally have to do this. And then different other tests, but these are the 2 ones for now. All right, next one. Just to give you an idea, the BMAT test, it's a 2-hour pen and paper, the traditional type test. It's done by a handful of medical and dental and veterinary schools. And then the BMAT assesses like a combination of aptitude and knowledge testing, a broad range of skills across the sections, aptitude and skills, scientific knowledge, your knowledge of the subject, and written communication. The other one is the UCAT test, or the University Clinical Aptitude Test. It's a 2-hour computerized exam designed to test aptitude rather than knowledge. So you can see the difference in terms of the two tests. The idea, in this case, the idea is that the high scores would indicate if the candidate has the potential or not. So, in both cases, we will practice these tests with our students to make sure that they're fully prepared. Many students have lost a place in a top university because they've done badly in their admission test or badly in the interview. So those are key. All right, next. A sample of these different universities, like for instance, BMAT universities, is Cambridge, Oxford, Imperial, UCL, Leeds, Brighton, Lancaster, Kiel, and then samples of UCAT universities would be Birmingham, Bristol, Manchester, Newcastle, Cardiff, etc. All right, next. So if you want to do medicine, of course, you're going to either start by doing a one-year GCSE, where you take 6 to 9 subjects, minimum age is 15, or you can go straight into your A-levels, where you will do a 2-year A-level course. In our case, it's a September intake. With your A-levels, you take 4 subjects. Those 4 for medicine would normally be chemistry, biology, maths, sometimes physics, economics, or psychology. So the 4 subjects are key. You need to be minimum age of 16, because if you're not, lots of universities, if you're not 18 when you finish, particularly with medicine, you're going to have a problem to try and get into some top ones. So those are the qualifications. IELTS requirement, as you can see, 6.5. All right, next slide. So how do we do it at Cardiff? Just briefly, okay, go to the next one, please, Helen. To show you what you're going to get, and I'm not going to dwell too much on it because we don't have too much time, but just to give you a snapshot, there it is. You see lots of career knowledge, tutor-led societies. This is important. These are societies who are like a medical, a law, engineering society. These are all run by teachers. So you'll be in the medical society with us. And in that society, they'll teach you everything you need to know about being a doctor, about medicine, which universities, etc. So you'll be surrounded by other students like you who all want to be doctors or in the medical field. So you go on hands-on workshops, you do curriculum trips together. We have speaker sessions, real doctors that come to the school and actually talk to the students. But the bottom part, I want you to have a look at the bottom section here, the blue part. This is what makes us a little different and gives the opportunity to students to excel. We do lots of extended learning modules, like critical thinking. As a doctor, you've got to think on your feet. People's lives are at stake, so it's important. EPQ, extended project qualification. Universities love this. And for those of you who don't know, it's where a student has to go and do some research and do an assignment. It's normally based around the career that they want to study, what type of medicine, either in pediatrician or neuroscience or whatever it may be. They do some research at our school library or the town library. They then write a 5,000-word paper. It gets graded, and they get an A-level grade for that as well, or half an A-level actually. You can do well in that, and there's already an A or an A-star for you. So, and universities really like it because they see that a student now has insight in terms of what they want to go and do one day, so they enjoy it. Then the actual process, as I mentioned, the UCAS application. So you have, we help you with the application itself. 5 universities we'll apply to, the interview process. We role play, we videotape, we help you with your personal statement. And then the entrance exams, as I showed you earlier on. And then lastly, but most importantly, is work internship or work observation. In the UK, as a student, you're not allowed to work, but you can do work observation. So in our case, we will send the students to the Prince George Hospital. They put on a nice white coat, a stethoscope, and they'll shadow a real doctor around. They'll look like a doctor, talk to patients, be in the emergency room. They'll feel what it's like to be a doctor. We do that with them for 10 days. Vital experience. Okay. Apart from that, they also get a whole lot of other skills. I'm not going to go too much detail in terms of that. Let's go to the next slide, Helen. The personal statement is probably going to be a very, very important document for them. It normally consists of about 4,000 characters or 47 lines, including the spaces. So it's a chance to impress your university or your admission panel with your academic achievements, your enthusiasm, why you want to be a doctor, all of these things. So it's very important. Okay, next. So when you do this personal statement, you must be very specific. Whatever you say, what you've done, what you've learned from doing it, your work experience, work observation, make your statement personal. That's why it's called a personal statement. They don't want to hear anything your teacher or mother or those people say. It's your statement. Okay, next. There's some ideas in terms of why academic achievements, your interests, and your conclusion. This is what it should look like, and this is the sort of format that should have. We're not going to dwell too much on this today. I do another talk about exactly how your personal statement should be structured, but we don't have too much time. So let's move on to the next slide. So this is from Alicia Lula. She's our director of consultancy. And she says, in terms of interviews, is to successfully apply to medical school, first you must win the interview, and then you must win at the interview. It's important that you impress the people that you see. Okay, next slide. So the interviews, when it comes to a traditional or panel interview, so one interview lasts 20 to 40 minutes. It's assessed by a group of people. That's the traditional type of interview. The advantages here is that you have control over the interview. You can show depth of knowledge. You can show exactly how good you are. There's no fresh start. Next one. And then the MMI, or multiple mini interviews. It's a series of short interviews, often around 7 to 9 minutes. One person. The advantages, you have a new start. You can talk to many different people. But the disadvantages, you cannot show in-depth knowledge. You cannot show how much you know about. Okay, next slide, please. There are some samples of traditional panel interviews. Cambridge and Oxford and Imperial are very well known for that, traditional type interviews. And then MMIs you'll find in Birmingham, Bristol, Manchester, Cardiff, Newcastle, to give you an idea of different universities and their different styles. All right, next one. So the work experience is going to be vital. This is key. I cannot stress enough work experience, how important it is, particularly when it comes to medicine. And you can see there's Cambridge and what they say about work experience. It is really, really very, very important. All right, next one. In our case, we have twice a year, which is October and February, work observation and volunteering opportunities. We have a program called the ICE program, International Citizens Experience. That's where our students go away to other countries, Malaysia, Tanzania, and observe medicine in those countries. So you cannot get enough of the observation in terms of wanting to be a doctor one day. And this is vitally, vitally important for these top universities. All right, next slide. So the core values for medicine, if you look at what people are looking for and what should be motivating you in terms of wanting to be a doctor, the motivation and interest to be a doctor, of course, is key. Insight into strengths and weaknesses, your ability to reflect, your personal organization skills, your problem-solving skills. You're going to have to think on your feet and lots of things. You cannot look into a book or ask or phone a friend, that somebody's life you're talking about. Dealing with the uncertainty. Oh, that's so real for today's, for where we are today, isn't it? Managing risk, the ability to take responsibility. You are in charge. You are in charge of the people, in charge of that life. You have to be responsible. Conscientiousness. Insight into your own health. Doctor has to look healthy. If you don't look healthy, nobody's going to come to you and say, please fix me. Effective communication. You have to communicate correctly to your nursing staff, your theater staff, to your colleagues. If not, people's lives are at risk. Teamwork is of the utmost importance. The ability to treat people with respect. People look up to you as a doctor. They look up to you. You must treat them respectfully. Resilience, empathy, and honesty. Those come without saying. Okay, next one. These are just 10 things, attributes of universities at medical admission office, what they look for when it comes to admissions of medical students. Good written English, as I mentioned earlier on, 7.5, as you well know, that's what's going to be required. Evidence of passion for your chosen course or subject. You need to show them that you have a passion to be a doctor one day. Evidence of positive attitude towards study. Evidence of ability to think and work independently outside the box. Good grasp of math. Math will always be an equator when it comes to being a doctor. Evidence of success through resilience. They want to see that you can persevere, you can do things. Having held any positions of responsibility or leadership, that always helps. Class captain, class monitor, prefect, things like that, where you can lead. You show ability to lead, because that's what you're going to do one day as a doctor. Work experience. You see, it comes up all the time. Work experience. And then excellence in performing creative arts. They don't want couch potatoes. They want balanced students. And of course, the awareness of global or cultural differences. You're going to work in other countries. You're going to treat patients from all walks of life, so all parts of the world. So you need to have a great awareness of that cultural difference. Next. At Cardiff, the pastoral care that we have there is, probably like most schools, but we pride ourselves that we have a pretty good one. We have the 2 boarding schools, and our house parents, you're going to have a guardian. And then, of course, there's a nurse on site. Particularly now with the pandemic, I think it's important to parents to know that there's peace of mind. And then the students, teachers, and prefects. So a student is surrounded by a network of support, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is important in today's area of what we are living in, is that a student has that support structure that they can turn to somebody any time of the day or night. Okay, next one. So, we can skip this. Next slide. We have a multicultural atmosphere at Cardiff, 41 different nationalities. Quite a few students, as I mentioned. We have about 15 students from Thailand currently at Cardiff. All right, next slide. They all have their own private room and bathroom, so nobody shares accommodation. They have their own room and own bathroom. Next one. We can go through this quite fast, Helen. I mentioned the International Citizens Experience, and they are the career societies, the 8 different ones. There are lots of clubs and competitions that they can join. One that's very popular these days is the NASA space program. So you can see there's so many things that our students can actually do and keep them occupied in terms of what they want to do. All right, next one. These are some case studies. I do want to just show you. Ellis Golding was our head boy. He got 4 A stars. He went to Cambridge for law. But here's Hosanna Pang. She's from Hong Kong. 5 A stars. She went back to Hong Kong University to go and study medicine, dentistry. So a lovely student. And there you can see there's living proof of what can happen. All right, next one. And these are just some other case studies in terms of 2 of the other students of this past year. Right, let's go to the next one. I don't think we should play the video. I don't think we have enough time, so we want to go straight into the question and answer section. This is just a video of students who can become medical doctors with us at Cardiff, just to give you some idea. I think we can skip this, Helen, and go straight to the questions, the Q&A. I think we might be running out of time. There we go. Yeah. All right. So there you have it. That's in terms of studying medicine with Cardiff and how we can help you to become a doctor one day. As I mentioned, it's not for the faint-hearted. It's very difficult to get into medical school, but we've done it. We've done it for as I said, 210 students over the last couple of years. and some Thai students as well. We currently have some Thai students who are going to be studying medicine this year who already have had their offers for university. So if we can do it for them, we can do it for you guys here. Any questions, Helen, or anything that they would want to ask?
Hi, Tony. We are back. Thank you very much for your time and presentation. I believe that, our audience have received lots of information about, getting into the medical school. So it's one question for me, actually, like, as we know that normally students have to need time, like to prepare themselves. So when do you suggest, when do you suggest that people like the students should prepare themselves, before getting into the medical school? Like when do they need to know themselves? Like since year 7, year 8, or year 9, something like that. Because in Thailand, normally when the student decide that they would like to go to medical school is around probably like year 11, like comparing to UK. Do you think at that age or at that year level, is it too late, like for them to realize themselves at that time?
Yeah, normally you will find that students who want to go and study medicine comes from a young age. They have made up their mind they want to go into that field. We would normally advise students to start with a 1-year GCSE. So that would be like an age of 15. So they complete the 1-year GCSE or the 2-year GCSEs for that matter when they're 14. And then really the crunch is when they do the 2-year A levels. Now they're 16 and above, because that's really where you're going to start forming them, where they're going to be doing their 4 subjects and specialize in those 4 subjects and getting all the extracurriculum activity and all the assistance when it comes to what it takes to be a doctor. Because, to try and do it on your own, it's virtually impossible. You need help. You need to go through all these steps. And this is how we try and help our students.
And how about the student who just realized that they want to be a doctor, probably like after they finish GCSE? Is there a possible way for them to still, pursue their dream to be a doctor after that?
So what you're saying is when they've already completed GCSE, they then decide they want to be a doctor? Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely they can. There are foundation courses as well. Not everybody becomes a neurosurgeon. There are biomedical, there is veterinary, there's all sorts of different areas. But it's difficult. Going to veterinary school, there are only 10 universities in the UK that you can do it. Dentistry is a lot more challenging. So normally the students would come, they want to be a doctor, but they're not quite sure in what field. So we allocate them a career advisor, and this person is with them for the 2 years. And that person will go through all the things, the university steps, what type of universities, what they specialize in, and that, and give them all the advice they need. Plus, in the society meetings I mentioned, that medical society meeting, they are in there and they get daily information. They get real doctors coming to talk to them, and they have these career advisors that help them through the whole process. So they really get a lot of support knowing where they want to go.
That sounds really good. And you mentioned, about working in experience or internship. Does that, does that has to be, only, in the hospital or in the nursing care, or any kind of, internship that, the college or the university will be consider them?
It would be advisable if it's somewhere in the medical field, like a clinical or old age home or hospital or, places like that. But at the end of the day, even volunteer work, working with the elderly or showing empathy, these are things that people want to see from university. So it does help if you are in hospitals and get that sort of training, because then you feel firsthand. But other experience also assists. The more you can do, the more you're going to show them that you have this passion, you can work with people, you have empathy for people or animals, etc. So, either way, it does help.
How long does that has to be for, for the work,
Well, as much as you can, because, with us, we give them the 10 days, which is February and November, plus they have the 2 weeks if they go away on the ICE program. But there are children and students all over that have done little bits of volunteer work, and it all adds up. So, I always tell them, and the teachers and professors tell them, keep a logbook. There's some doctors in Thailand today that still have logbooks that when they were in high school or when they went to medical school, they made little notes and log. They still use that. So you can use that throughout your life.
Okay. So is it mandatory to apply internship only in UK, or can they apply like for international?
Oh no, they can start here. They can start here in Thailand. I mean, there are opportunities. I know I've been speaking to some hospitals here and some establishments where they will accept students to take in for internship and work. They won't work. They won't get salaries, but it's like work observation. And it can be anywhere in the world for that matter. At the end of the day, you're working with people. Doesn't matter where it is.
I think that would give more idea for for the parents and the students as well. Like what internship, like what they need to do and everything. And I believe like you have like another question for Tony, right?
Oh yes. So my last question would be, what is the percentage of the foreign student that continue to work as a doctor in UK after graduation? Are there any kind of like local law to support the case?
Well, laws in UK have not changed. In the past it was different, so now you can stay on for the 2 years, so there are opportunities to do some work afterwards. Number one, but at the end of the day, it's immaterial. That the thing is, what you have to try and ensure is that you want to be with an establishment that's going to give you the right path. And make sure, to give an example, if you don't have your applications in by the 15th of October, you won't go to medical school that year. So these are all little things that lots of people don't realize. And make sure you're with the right operation, give you all of these, check the boxes, is important.
I see. I think we already running out of time here, but I believe parents.
I can carry on for another hour, but maybe we can do a seminar for you. But I really enjoy talking to the parents, and I hope my two lovely nurses will come and join me again when I do. Thank you for helping and putting this together, and you and Andrew and the team really appreciate it. And as you know, I really enjoy the Thai people, and I would love to help more. We have 15 students now. I'd like to double them. They're polite. They are passionate about what they do. No trouble. There's never any trouble from them. So really, we love to have the Thai students.
Yeah, we would like to thank you as well, Tony, for your support and, and giving your time on our, virtual fair again. And I believe that you will be in the booth as well, right? So like if parents and students who would like to talk more about medical school or get to know more about Cardiff School College in the UK, please just visit the Cardiff School College booth, and I believe that Tony gonna be there to advise you. You can feel free to just chat or just make a phone call, or we can have like you can have like a like a face-to-face communication with Tony, and you don't have to be afraid of your English because we have the interpreter there to help you as a parents and student to talk more, to receive more information as much as you can. For today, thank you so much, Tony, for your time, and I hope to see you again soon.
You're very, very welcome. My Thai is very, very little bit. I can speak small bit of Thai, but obviously my lovely translator can. And later my colleague Henrietta from UK as well will join in. So thank you very much. Much appreciated, ladies.